It's time to go pulling with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League at the Hillsboro Fireman's Park with two powerful tractor classes. From the PPL Silver Series comes a huge competitive field of the turbocharged limited Pro Stock tractors who are ready to make some steam. Also in town is the Powerhouse Super Modified Tractor class. Coming off a win in Indy, Steve Bunnich has broken into the top 5, sitting only 6 points out of third. Can the Bunnich team continue this hot streak? The sled's hooked, and it's time to sling some dirt.
Tractor pulling. The ultimate test of power. Purpose-built vehicles create thousands of horsepower using turbos and superchargers, alcohol fuel, and multi-engine configurations to see who can pull the farthest. A sled weighing thousands of pounds is used to stop the pulling vehicles. A moving weight box progressively adds resistance to end the run. The sled is customized for classes ranging from customized farm tractors to multi-engine modifieds. Teams spend countless hours preparing their machines for competition. Thousands of dollars are spent traveling to events across 10 states, maximizing power and repairing broken parts. The season is long, and the competitors have to maintain focus every pull to compete for a class championship. This is Tractor Pulling with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.
Welcome to Hillsboro, Wisconsin for the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Wyotech. We have some great pulling action coming your way here this evening, including the limited Pro Stock tractors, and of course we'll have our super mods in the house. So we look forward to getting things started here. Ken Stout and Leslie Mears to call the action for you, and Don Slama's given us a great racetrack here to pull on.
And it's just amazing. These limited Pro Stock tractors run on the TS Performance Silver Series, and they're kind of more of an entry-level, vehicle that you can kind of break into tractor pulling with. But I say entry-level, it doesn't mean that they're cheap. It's just a place where you can kind of get it on the ground running, and you can have some more durable parts in your machine so you're not blowing it up every time you go down the track.
Boy, doing some driving right there. Justin Wagler, the real deer is what it's called. 337 and 72. Big time ground speed. I love it when those things take off. They finally get a bite, and watch the front end just yanks up in the air, hooks up, and away he goes.
And of course, my favorite thing to watch on the line is the evolution of that smoke from white to gray to black as it turns into that beautiful plume coming out of that big sewer pipe stack. And of course, Justin Wagler, a very, very good super farm tractor puller at one time that has stepped up into this 4-1 category.
And we take a look at our pulling order. We're actually hearing that Justin Wagler will fall back down to the bottom of the pulling order as they are going to reset the sled after that effort.
And so you can see quite a few in the field here. It's a very, very popular category here, the limited Pro Stocks. I call them the 4-1s because of the 4.1-inch turbocharger that they use. That's, of course, the limit on the intake. The exhaust can be as big as they want out there. They are limited to 640 cubic inches, and they cannot have any intercoolers to help cool the air down as it goes into the engine.
And the sled change is working. Jake Luther, tool time, 287 and 65.
Yeah, they really put the brakes on these guys. With a field this large, you let one guy run out there 337 feet, then you're going to have a whole slew of them out there, and then you're going to have a huge pull-off at the end of the night.
Running in red is the name of the tractor here for our next competitor, Nick Gallants, driving that International.
And the second generation puller here, Nick, doing a great job at 296 and 67. His dad, of course, Tom Gallants, drove running in the red when it was a super farm tractor to a points championship.
Watch it one more time. I mean, it all looks really nice here. Just slowly picks up that front end. Look at those rear tires just squatting and planting a huge footprint. When it comes out, goes 296 and 67. That's good enough to take over the lead right now. Only 2 tractors so far making a complete pull. Up next, Tony McDonald. Well Spent is the name of the tractor. Our current points leader coming into this event. Has a couple of wins on the season, but has been steadily inside of that top 5. In fact, 6 top 5s in the first 7 events. And I'm going to make that, I'm going to take that back. It's been 7 top 5s in the first 7 events, and consequently your points leader. And he takes over the lead here at 3:02 and 25.
You know, talk about a guy who's got some history in the sport of pulling. In 1990, he actually made his first pass down the track on an antique tractor at 9 years old. So, I mean, he's been doing this for quite some time, and track experience is track experience, and it's really paid off here for the Well Spent team and Tony McDonald.
And I love it, of course, the money sign on the front of that, meaning money well spent. So,
and that's actually where the name came from. He was at an indoor pull and said, it's time well spent, it's money well spent. We're with friends and family all the time. It's all well spent.
Our next competitor is Jerry Gerlach. Jerry and Mitchell Gerlach competing on this tractor. It's called G-Force. Another one having a great season. 6 top 5s, including a win at Freeport earlier in the year, and just 3 points out of second. And lays up well short of that 300-foot mark at 289 and 83.
And I just love the old school International 1066 sheet metal that we see here on the G-Force machine. And you know, you kind of see a lot of it in this category. You're going to see the 1066, the 1466 sheet metal out here, the square John Deere sheet metal, not the racy stuff that you see on the Pro Stocks and the Super Farms. These guys like to kick it old school, and that's what's great about it.
Second in the points. This one's called the Ruthless binder, Doug Ruth. They have 2 tractors in the stable. Dustin drives the other one. Again, 6 top 5s in the first 7 events, including a win and a tie for the win with Tony McDonald, as they did not have a pull-off at the last event when they probably should have. 3:03.06. And maybe if that pull-off would have happened, that's what would have happened, because Doug Ruth just went ahead of Tony McDonald.
You know, just amazing. That was an interesting event. I was actually there to witness it. Both tractors broke in competition and not able to make it back. But check out Doug Ruth intently watching that sideline to make sure he does not have to tap the brake, because his seasoned eyes understand what happens when you have to use your brakes.
We are off and running here in our limited Pro Stock category at Hillsboro, Wisconsin. Ruth, McDonald, and Gallant, your top 3.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. General Tire, anywhere is possible. And by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
John Lichty coming up here at the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals, presented by Wyotech in our limited Pro Stock category. Another one of those red tractors. This one's called Rush Hour. Well, just a beautiful job there. You could hear him apply throttle, then let the clutch out for the initial hit. You could hear the turbo start to spool up. Once he got the full boost, he let the clutch all the way out, full throttle, and away he goes.
And, you know, great effort here, just 6 feet back of our leader as he lets it drift just a little bit on this pass, trying to keep it in the center. And a good job for the veteran.
Yeah, 297.04. A great job. Gets him up there into the top 3 right now. Next up is going to be Steve Hood and Glory Seeker 2 as you watch the International drive away. And Steve Hood will be on yet another Internationals. And it's funny how the Internationals will tend to dominate one class, and in particular the limited Pro Stock category, because in the Pro Stock category it goes back over to the John Deeres.
And it goes back to the durability of the block here of the International, and they aren't using intercoolers, and so that makes a huge difference as well.
Another key component that is not involved here is a wastegate for those turbos, so you've got to get it lined up perfectly. 292 and 68 for the Glory Seeker.
And with all that said, these guys still probably making somewhere around 1,200 to 1,300 horsepower, and that's without, the assistance of the wastegate and the assistance of that intercool that's going to crucially cool down that air to help create more horsepower. So these guys have definite engineering feats that they've accomplished to create this horsepower.
And Greg Elson goes 284 and 73. He'll be well short of the distance he was hoping for here. Name of the tractor, Thunder Clutch. Greg just missing it here a little bit.
Greg also the president of the Badger State Tractor Pullers Association, so he's got his hands full over the course of the season helping to run those events as well as his tractor, but a longtime puller here from the state of Wisconsin.
A great shot, too, to watch the guy back there in his sled. I mean, he gets slung around like a rag doll depending on the class, and it's quite a handful. You've been up in the sled and actually riding along.
It was an amazing opportunity. It was actually right here at Hillsboro just one night ago on a test pass. I rode while Don Slama made a test pass down the track, and things get fast in a hurry, and you just never know what's going to happen. You better hold on and bear down. That's all I got to say.
John Coots in the Diggin' Deer has only been out one or two pulls so far this year. He goes 280 and 38.
And this tractor's still in its infancy of conversion. Coots just really hasn't had a lot of time to get it out on the track and prep it out here as he converted it from a super farm last year to a limited pro this year.
Next up is fifth in the points. It's the bullheaded binder. Drew Mager behind the wheel and won just 2 events ago.
Bullheaded Binder is 5th in points right now. However, you got to win at the last event. What have you learned from that win that is good or new or something that will help elevate you further in the points?
Just trying to get our tires to get broke in right, playing with the weight a little more and more each time. And we're getting pretty confident that we're getting really close in our setup. Tonight, we're trying something a little different. Once again, kind of a hero or zero move, and see how it gets us.
Well, this is a tough track. Literally hero or zero. What is new?
Trying a little bit taller gear. We've been watching them. It's not really taking as much power as we thought it was going to, so we shifted up, let a little more air out of the tires, put a little more weight on the front to compensate for it. See, basically we're going to try it and go for broke.
See him working the brake pedals right there, pumping them up, making sure there's good pressure there in both of them. And the bullheaded binder goes 281 and 48. It is a tough track out here, and when you don't have a ton of horsepower to work with, you've got to nail it perfectly. Everything, air pressures, weights, and where you line that thing up on the track. Right now, Douglas Ruth has done it better than anybody else, and is your current leader. This is the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Wyotech. We're in Hillsboro, Wisconsin. This is the limited pro stock category, and up next, a John Deere is going to try to jump up in here and steal the win. The name of the tractor is Green Power, and Linehan is behind the wheel. .292 and 79, and it is tough to get out past that 290-foot mark, and no shortage of weights on the nose of that one.
It looks like there's about 14 weights out front, if I counted correctly. We all know math is not my strong suit. So 1,400 pounds on the front end of that 9,500-pound machine. And she's still getting the front end up way too high. I think maybe she could put 2 more out there, but I don't know if that extra 200 pounds would be enough to get that perfect weight distribution. So that shows us that the track is biting hard. She had a good setup for it, just not the weight distribution she needed.
All right, there are some ladies inside of the category. The next one up is Audra Stratton. I love the helmet there. Looks like her hair being pulled back in the ponytail outside the helmet, but of course it's all tucked inside. The name of the tractor? Dear Lirius. And out over, just over the, oh no, actually just under 299 and 99. That's as close as you can get to 300 and not get there.
And that's definitely an accurate measurement. We actually use a surveyor's laser to measure all of our distances. And so they're shot on the starting line, shot on the top end, and then of course triangulated to get the most accurate measurement possible here for the Dear Lirius machine. But Stratton, a good driver here, you know, had a different tractor, moved over to this 4-1 category and has had a little bit of success here.
So nice job for the young lady. Congrats to her. Shoot to Thrill is the next tractor pulling up there and hooked to the sled. Chad Russell is the man behind the wheel.
Dana Foods track, Dear Indiana, Chad Russell, Shoot to Thrill.
He picked the front end up early, planted those tires, and I don't know if he ever got the ground speed he was hoping for because those tires were so hooked up.
This track can be very tricky up here at Hillsboro. It's always known to be a very bitey track, a power track out here. And some of the pullers have even said it's a little easy to misread because it can be a little misleading for you out there when you're walking on it. So it's definitely a track everyone loves to pull on, but it's very hard for them to read as well.
Yeah, it's one of those deals. If you hook the tractor up right away and it pulls the RPMs down and you can't get the RPMs back up, you never get the ground speed that you're looking for. It's such a fine line. It is really a dance of grip and slip and weight, air pressures. There's a lot going on out there. It looks very simple from here, but it is anything but. Tough sledding, the name of the tractor. Scott Olson working the throttle hard there, goes 290 and 20.
And we have not seen anyone come close to our leader for quite some time. We've had about 10 tractors come out here since we had Doug Ruth take over the lead. So it's gotta make you think just a little bit that maybe the track's going away a little bit, or the fact that all of our tractors have pretty much run in the center of the track. Maybe they're wearing out that path and they need to kind of move over to the sidelines to find some fresh dirt.
And of course you can see the fans there having a great time out here. These local pulls really have a big draw, and this one has really grown over the years. Our next competitor drives a tractor called the Jolly Green Giant. And Crash Gladys had a chance to speak with him earlier today. He also picked up the very first win of the season.
Guys, Jolly Green Giant here was built to be a pro stock tractor, but Chris Wagle brought it down to the 4-1 class, and you're happy with that decision, is that correct?
Yes, we are, because back home where we're from in Missouri, there's a lot of hooks for the 4-1s and not very many for the full-blown pros. So that's the reason we scaled back, because we have a lot of places close to home where we can hook it.
Well, and another reason was maybe it would be cheaper, but you laugh at that?
Yeah, we really thought maybe it would live a little better, but we found out they don't. It's about the same.
It's tractor pulling. You guys are all loaded. You got the money to do this?
Yeah, right. I mean, it is a hobby. Of course, we approach it as that, but it gets in your pockets if you got to work on it every week.
Yeah, and we're talking probably to build one of these turnkey, you're talking probably $75,000 to $100,000. So it is a very expensive sport, but lots of enjoyment for family and pullers alike.
Oh, and he talked about working on it. He's going to work on it now. That one gave up right at the very end. I'd say a pretty serious mechanical at 262 and 37 for the Jolly Green Giants. So a tough break there for Chris Wagle.
After that initial win, he's just been plagued with issues, and it can really wear on you. But you see how hot he had it turned up because he got a little flame out of the stack there as he started. And he was on a roll. He was going to have a nice pass there, the way he had the front end up and the rear tires really sinking into the track. So very unfortunate night for him, because it would have been a really good distance for him.
All right, we have a couple of tractors yet to go inside of the limited pro stock category. We'll find out who's going to win this thing when we come back. Douglas Ruth still stands up top. Up next will be Al Wright and the Runnin' Red Hot here at the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals, presented by Wyotech.
This is the second half of the Gallitz pulling team. We saw Nick Gallitz at the very beginning of the class with the other tractor on the team.
Boy, it just sounded like it was screaming right there at the very end. Not enough distance, 288 and 42.
So you can watch the takeoff and see slipping that clutch out very, very slowly to go full throttle. Tires hooked up nice and hard off the line. And just that bouncing at the end, just really detrimental.
But it almost looks like something maybe broke there right at the very end. It's kind of hard to say. It was kind of a strange ending to that. And you see the rear tire still really freewheeling back there, but nonetheless, not enough distance to get out there tonight, whatever the case may be. And that gets us to our final tractor in the category. It's called the Real Deer. Justin Wagler behind the wheel.
He was our test puller, so he does have a feel for the track. However, we are way later in the night, and these conditions could have changed for him.
And that 3:03 mark just went away. 3:10 and 59. That has to be sweet redemption after he came out here, put 3:37 on the board, dropped it, went down to the bottom, and they changed his sled and gets the win.
Taking a hook mid-pack worked out for you. What did you notice ahead of you that helped you with your run?
Well, I don't know if I noticed much of anything. It was kind of probably by accident, because the track kind of wanted to pull me to the right, and I think that's where we needed to be. But I wasn't intending on going that direction.
But right now, who cares about the intentions? You're on the podium.
That's right. That's right. No, I'm glad. I want to thank PPL, and I want to thank my crew members, my wife, my son Dustin, and Brianna, and Cole Stansberry, and I want to make a special thanks to Gary Brinkmeyer. That's where we got the tractor at, and it's pretty neat to be here with him too.
As you can see, it was a great night for Justin Wagler, who takes the win, but Tony McDonald steps up on the edge of the podium here, and that's what he needs to keep up his consistency, as he is leading the points right now in this tough field of vehicles. Let's send it back down to the podium with Crash.
Well, when we talked to Tony at the top end, I don't think even he thought you'd be up on the podium, so things were a little better than you expected, correct?
Yeah, things turned out pretty good. The track didn't come around as fast as what we thought, and Wagler got ahead of us and Doug Ruth, but we ended up real good tonight.
And that's the challenge as the sun goes down as your class is going on. So was that one of the reasons you were a little nervous?
Yeah, definitely. With a class of 21 tractors and two tracks going, it takes a while to get through them. But the track crew did a really good job tonight. Don Slama does an excellent job here. We really appreciate pulling here in Hillsboro.
And we take a look at the points here. It'll be a run right down to the very end, but now Douglas Ruth, Tony McDonald separated by just 14. Well, Justin Wagler, he's only been out 3 times this year, and he has 2 podiums, including this win, to show for it.
Being the test hook has its advantages. Of course, he goes 340 feet, so they have to change the sled. He went a little too far, but you go back last in the class, you still figure it out. How'd you do it?
Well, we just really watched the track and the tractors and thought that it would probably come around a little bit, and we just had a little luck on our side, and it just panned out. So I just really want to thank Don, the Hillsboro Charity Fire Park, and the charity pool here, Lucas Oil, all the sponsors that are involved, my pit crew, my dad, my wife at home, all the guys that help do this, and the good Lord for letting me be able to come out here and do this.
All right, we're not finished yet. Are you ready for some big-time horsepower? The multi-engine tractors are coming up next. The Super Mods are in the house.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by Speedco Truck Lube and Tires. Built for speed, staffed for quality, delivering world-class value. Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. And by Wyotech. Enroll today, turn pro at Wyotech.